So welcome to Night Hacking. This is Night Hacking in Java 1 LAD. And today I have with me Geertjan. Geertjan, hi.
Hi, Jolanda.
So you want to talk to us about Oracle Jet. So what is Oracle Jet?
Oracle Jet is a toolkit of technologies, solutions, and components that are really helpful when you're creating larger JavaScript applications, especially business applications, finance applications, something with customer data. If you're creating those kinds of applications in JavaScript, then really you need to take a look at Oracle Jet.
So it's the front end, right?
It's
so
purely front end.
So do you have also a demo to show us? Or
Yes,
like
yes.
Yeah? Can you explain what you're going to show us?
Yes. Well, if we're on the Oracle Jet homepage, oraclejet.org, you'll see there's a Getting Started link, and you find out that there's a Yeoman generator for getting started with Jet. And when you click on Try Demo, you'll be on the Work Better app in JavaScript using Oracle Jet components and architecture. And when you click on Use Cookbook, you'll find yourself in a place where you see all the Jet components, and there are data visualizations of various kinds. And when you scroll down, you see that one of these is a map component. And I've taken that map component and I've integrated it into an application. And since we're in Brazil, we have here a map of Brazil that I've integrated into an Oracle Jet application. And I'll show you how I did that. So Jet applications are inherently modular. Everything you do in Jet is within a module. And a module in Jet is a module defined by require.js. Currently, that's the module system that we use at the moment. And you can see that here there is a home.js page. I'll just clean this up a bit. There's a home.js page, and on the other side, home HTML is the view. And I'll just clean that a bit. Okay, so what you see here is a thematic map. And this is the thematic map component that you'll find in the cookbook. And there's a complete recipe for this. So the cookbook is literally a bunch of recipes for different components. And I've taken that map component as a starting point. What I also have is I've downloaded a JSON file that defines it's a very large file, all the states within Brazil and all their locations and geographies. And I found this online somewhere, just found that. And then I went and in my home.js file, I used a jQuery text to point to that file. You can see here it's called Brazil JSON. And I'm referring to it here in my define block in my home.js file. And I'm passing it in as the first parameter here. So then in the function callback here on line 5, that first parameter is that JSON file. And then it goes in here, and there is here something called a map provider, and that comes from Oracle Jet. And if you take a look here, you'll see that there's this map provider concept, meaning that you don't have to use the base maps that Oracle Jet provides, but you can provide your own alternative maps using GeoJSON, which is a standard in doing that. So we have this GeoJSON file, and I create a new map provider. I pass in that JSON file, I say JSON parse, and I pass in that JSON file, and then there are properties defined in that JSON file. There's name is one of the properties you see in there, and I've mapped that to the ID and to the short label and the long label. And what that means is, here is the short label or the text that you see, and this pop-up is the long label. So I can say here something. And when I hover over this, well, that wouldn't work. There isn't a property like that. There is a property, so we can take a look at our file to find another property. Let's see, there is name, and there is also Sigla, which is the abbreviation. So let's take that, and we'll go in here, and we'll set that as the long label. So this is the abbreviation of the state. And now you can see that as I move, that pop-up appears and shows the abbreviation of the state. So you can very easily get hold of those properties from our GeoJSON file and reference them in our JavaScript file. So this is the JavaScript side. So we build up a map provider, and then we link to that map provider in our OJ thematic map on the view side. So here is the map provider. It's a reference to that observable property inside of our JavaScript side. And we can call this base map whatever we like. It can be any name, and we can name the layer whatever we like. And then you can see that there are different colors that have been assigned to some of the states, as an example. So I could take another state. So here's one state. And I'll add this one into this list. So this state is the one in the bottom left here. And we'll give it a unique ID. And now we'll give it a special color. So I don't know, I'm just going to choose some random color. And when I save, what we will see is that this will have a color. So I do save, Control S, and the page refreshes, and then you can see this color. So you can very easily tweak and update this map and add values and so on to it. So this is making use of a JSON file that I have downloaded and that is available locally within my project. But what you can also do is, you can link off to a JSON file that you've generated in some other way. So it doesn't have to be a local JSON file. Now what I see here in the browser is I'm pointing to the payload of a Java EE backend. So here is where Java EE comes into it. So I have here a customer backend, and this is a plain Java EE backend connecting to a Java DB database that I have set up inside NetBeans. And so here's that database, and there's customer data in there. And I can see all the customer data in here. So now the question is, how would I integrate that into my Jet application? So what I can do is let's create a new module here. So go here, and we can say here, RESTful Jet module. And we can point to one of our RESTful services, in this case our customer service. We click next, and we say where we want it to be created. So we want it to be created in view model. So this is the JavaScript side, and the and the HTML side, the view will be in JS views. So home already exists, so this will be customers. Let's say finish. And now we see that here is again, so before in home.js we had a component, or home HTML, with a component called OJ Thematic Map. And in our customers HTML, we have a component called OJ Table. So this is another one of these nice Jet components. And it's been generated from that JSON payload. These columns have been generated. When we look at the JavaScript file, we can see that we are pointing to our JSON that is online. So now it's not local JSON in a file, but now it's JSON that is online. And pushed into a observable array called data are the values that are available in that payload. And so now we're actually all done. So let's just make this a unique attribute. Let's say that it is the name is the unique attribute. And we also need to include one more item in here, which is we're making use of the array table data source. So here is array. So for each of the components that you make use of, you need to include this in the define statement, in your define block within your JavaScript file. So now they should be good to go. And I'm not going to hook it into the application. I'm going to replace one of the existing pages with our customers page. So you can see here that there's people. Okay, so I'm just going to delete people.js, and I'm going to delete people.html. And I'm going to rename those two that I've just created to people.js and people.html. So delete these two, and then this will be people. And what was the other one? It was called customers also, so this will be people. So now they should be loaded when we switch to that people page.
Okay, so basically you can okay, perfect.
There's a table. So
you can pull the data from any server, basically.
Yes, so our data can be in a local file, or it can be somewhere online.
Right.
And this is integration with the Java EE backend. So this is the relevance of Java to this JavaScript scenario.
Right. So you could have like any type of app server in the backend, right?
Yes.
Or cloud solution.
Yes, absolutely.
And you can also, I think, if I understood correctly, also you can also deploy that on a mobile phone or any like tablets.
Absolutely.
And
yes.
Can be read.
So right now we're on the browser on the desktop, but Jet also has support for Cordova. So Jet Mobile lets you create mobile applications for Android or iOS or a Windows phone via Cordova, and this integration works very nicely.
Wonderful. So thank you so much, Geertjan, for the demo. That was very insightful. And we'll see you at the next conference,
yes,
right? And it will be online. So the interview and the demo will be also available online.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.